Nariana Zone here, just doing a quick video and a little bit of gameplay in Star Wars The Old Republic. Apparently there is a video going around stating Star Wars The Old Republic is dying. Well, I would just like to reiterate that's said about all games. Everything from Baldur's Gate 3 to World of Warcraft to Elder Scrolls Online to Star Trek Online to Final Fantasy 14 or whatever iteration they're on now. So I'm just kind of going to do a little bit of response on both ends of the spectrum. From is the game been letting its player base down to no, it's not dying. So here we go. So pretty much in a response to a video, people stating the game's dying. Well, before, and this is a comment that I'd like to say, is before people start making videos saying the game is dying, my question to them is, when was the last time you logged in and when was the last time you actually played through any of the content? Was it 3 years ago, 4 years ago? Or did you just log in to see what's going on Fleet and go, oh, nothing's going on, chat seems to be quiet? And when did you log in? Time of day, evening, what server? So I'm going to address a few issues. So first off, Star Wars The Old Republic was one of Electronic Arts' biggest cash cows because of the market and stuff like that. I used to work at EA, and they would absolutely milk anything and everything they possibly can out of a game and then toss it. So hence the cash market, cartel market. So Star Wars The Old Republic was no exception. EA basically let Star Wars The Old Republic, wither on the vine and see how much cash they could possibly get out of it before they sold it to Broadsword. And I also want to say, you know, people complain, hey, there hasn't been any content. Well, we did have this little cerveza virus that was going around.
We need a droid to switch the power over to the ion cannon.
Well, the cerveza bug that was going around, and people were pretty much stuck in their houses, and a lot of studios and a lot of companies just were not able to put out content. One of the bigger studios, ZeniMax, they were actually able to put out a chapter while their whole entire staff worked from home and were not in the office. So you have that. Also, at the same time, during that time, Electronic Arts sold Star Wars The Old Republic to Broadsword and migrated the game literally off of in-house servers to Amazon Web Services. And that takes time. And generally, I think the transition completed or started in 2022. And generally that takes, you know, a year of planning and then actual transitioning stuff over to Amazon Web Services. Probably another 18 months. So transition buyout happened 2022. The moving over to Amazon Web Services, year and a half. We're in the middle of 2023. I guarantee you 100%. The staff, the devs, the IT staff at Broadsword and everything had absolutely no time to develop content. Am I running interference for them? No, I am not. People are going to say, oh, you're just a fanboy. I'm telling you, I work in the IT field, close to 30 years of experience of doing this type of stuff. When that's going on and companies are merging and taking over, you're not going to be developing new content, you know. And yes, Legacy of the Sith, 3 years old, have to take into account consideration, cerveza bug, acquisition by Broadsword, moving the servers and the contents up to Amazon Web Services. That just doesn't happen overnight. I'm sure there's other legalities behind the scenes and stuff like that. that EA had put into the contract, because it's pretty much a hit company all the way around, and we've seen how their recent games have turned out. And so there's that delay. Then right now there's the voice actor strike going on. So yeah, they're behind the 8 ball. And yeah, no new content for quite some time, which I get it, but what's the full story? I always ask people, what's the full story? What's the both half of the story? One, EA ran the game into the ground. Okay. Tried to suck every single penny and dime they possibly could out of the game before they sold it. Two, moving from on-premises hardware to Amazon Web Services. That takes time. Legal agreements. That takes time. Acquisition, training people up on how to deal with the code in a game from 2011 with the Hero engine. So, like I say, all that has to be factored into the delay of content. Now we're here beginning the year of 2025. Things have probably stabilized on the hardware end with Amazon Web Services. Their staff is probably more trained up now on how to deal with code and how to fix things. If you've noticed, they've been putting out a lot of bug fixes. I'm sure they have a massive queue of bug tracks, how they track the bugs and what's going to get worked on and what's prioritized, you know, and what's going to bring stability to the game. ESO did this back in, I think it was late 2024 or even the beginning of 24. ESO basically said, hey, here's your full chapter, and this year we're concentrating on bug fixes, and there's not going to be any more content this year related to this particular chapter. Okay. So, to my main point, why I don't think the game is dying. If the game was dying, they would let it die. Or they wouldn't do any type of bug fixing. And they would not be doing any type of modernization on the textures of your characters or any of the starting planets. So, I stream Saturdays, 12 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, on YouTube and on Twitch, and I started a new character named Narayana. And going through the Tython course planet, they've put some time into modernizing things, and it looks good. I'm impressed with what they could do with this particular engine in the game. So if the game was dying, they would not be investing money in it. They would put it on the vine, and they would let it sit there and generate a passive type of income. They wouldn't be fixing bugs, wouldn't be modernizing it, and they wouldn't be showcasing updated content coming down the pipe, which is being delayed, and they probably are on a non-disclosure agreement with the Voice Actors Guild, stating that they can't say anything about it. And they have to just say, yes, it's not ready yet because it's not up to our standards. And the issue is, they're right. It's not up to their standards because they can't get the voice actors. And everybody knows and everybody wants content with voice actors, and they want new content. So that's probably what's going on with the content being delayed. Now, does the game have issues? Yes, it does. The slow pace of content coming out? Absolutely agree. 3 years, but once again, people fail to realize that we had this pandemic and the Cerveza bug going around, which slowed everything down, including my work. And then 2, being acquired by a new studio and trying to get people trained up on how everything works and decoding stuff, the engine, without breaking the whole entire game. It all takes time. And then, like I said, you have legal agreements. So, no, I have no problem pointing out where the game is lacking. PvPers, yeah, they took away your rank, PvPing, and no, they should not have done that. Mistake. Slow on content. Yes, but there's those factors again. Community manager. Okay, here's my take on this. And this is where I'm going to criticize them. Everybody that I know that's in the industry now has been returning to office. Okay, the days of the free paycheck are over. If you've noticed, Jackie has been on the forums more and posting more, even little tidbits. I've been keeping an eye on that. And yeah, I think she's a horrible community manager. Nothing's communicated, but I think that's coming to a head because they're back in the office now. Where I work, we have our return to office order is June 6th or something like that. So yeah, it's people are returning, things are getting back to normal, the free paychecks are gone, and now people are going to really have to do their damn jobs. And that means posting on the forums and keeping people updated. So, uh-oh. One security droid. So yeah, the community managers have been horrible. That live stream they did, I think last month in March, disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. That should never have been allowed to happen. The way Musco and Fred behaved, that was just disgraceful. And yeah, that was bad. You know, and people say, oh, I log in and there's nothing to do in the game. Really? Why don't you start another character? You know, check out the new starting zones with you know, the new updated, well, I should say not new starting zones, but check out the starting zones with the new artwork and stuff. It looks good. It looks good for what the engine can do. So then they, frankly, also, people say there's no new content and stuff. Well, you're right. But they've adjusted out the uprisings to where you can actually complete them at max level with gear. And I've posted a couple of videos of me doing that. And I find the uprisings to be a little bit frustrating in solo mode and challenging solo story mode. And it's new content to me. And a little background on that is I was in their beta program and got into Star Wars when it first launched publicly. I've been with the game for a very long time. I think I took a break. Right around 2022 after I completed Legacy of the Sith. Oh, I've been back since middle of 2024. and stuff's improved. I don't like how everything is on the global cooldown. I think that's ridiculous. It's lazy development work. And like when I'm on my Sage and she drops her AoE, it's like 3.5, 4 seconds. It used to be 7 seconds. What's the big difference? I click it, she does her thing, then just as that one ends, I click it again. I think they made a big mistake when they did that. Class balancing needs to have a rework on it. There needs to be more done to some of these ads other than it just being massive XP DPS sponge, and have a little more mechanics to it. But it's
The Imperials are loading Kolto faster than expected. We're running out of time.
Now, as for the storytelling, I'm going to rip them a new one. Their new storytellers, they're stretching this Mando story out way too long. At this point, the amount of time that we've spent, meaning your character, cleaning up after the Mando's mess, yeah, I'm just going to execute Shay. Done. Don't want to ever deal with it again. So they need to improve their storytelling, which basically means they need to get some new writers. I think with what they do, and they're stretching stuff out, and their political agenda inside the studio, I think it needs to change. So that's my take on it. One, extenuating circumstances for the content delay. Studio acquisition, Cerveza, bug, pandemic, moving equipment from on-prem to Amazon Web Services. Yeah, I can get it. I get it. I've done that stuff in my career. Give them a little bit of a pass on that. What I don't give them a pass on is their lack of creativity. I mean, for Lord's sake, it's Star Wars. You can be very creative. Extending this Mando story forever, it's like, come on, let's get off of this story, come up with a new idea, and if you can't, you need to quit or you need to be fired. Simple as that. I do see them fixing bugs, which I'm all good for, and I do see them, with the uprisings. Okay, it's kind of like they threw us a little bit of a bone, and then they toned down the uprisings on story mode so you could actually complete them with a high level companion and yourself being equipped with decent gear. So I really don't consider this decent gear. It's green gear. Decent gear to me is blue, or blue. Good gear is purple or above. So I've done uprisings here on Ahsoka with this, so in story mode. Tried it when they first released it, and yeah, she got her ass kicked. Anyway, it's a different video. So, but no, the game is not dying. People have been saying that since, 2015. People were saying that about World of Warcraft, about Elder Scrolls, about Baldur's Gate, about Star Trek, about Final Fantasy. No, the game's not dying, and the signs are they wouldn't be investing in fixing it. They wouldn't be investing in modernizing it. That goes for all the games. Elder Scrolls is in the process of modernizing their game. A couple of years ago, They redid the whole entire game engine, forced you to uninstall your old version and download a complete new version so they could keep up with the times. So, no, Star Wars: The Old Republic, in my opinion, is not dying. Is it sub accounts and followers and stuff? You know, I don't know the numbers. People said, you know, World of Warcraft is dying with, you know, Battle for Azeroth, Shadowlands, which happened to be two of their shittiest expansion packs. I mean, I bought BFA and basically completed it and swore I'd never give another penny to Blizzard ever again. And I haven't. Then people, you know, showed me their Shadowlands expansion pack, and I'm just like, get that. I'm not giving them $75 for that. So, but I'm not doing a video on them, and I wouldn't unless I've logged in and can say, oh, I've played this recently for more than an hour and it's either good or it's bad. So it goes out to those content creators that, oh, I've read the news about it. Well, 98% of the news out there is negative on everything. And that's what draws replies, and that's what draws clicks, and that's what draws people to view. So I say, if you're a content creator, go play the game for a while. Go start a new character. Go check out the zones that they've redone. Then come back on and make your video. Not just log in and look around Fleet to see who's there and if chat's active or if nothing's going on. I mean, the game has got a lot of content. You know, yeah, they removed ranked PvP. Oh, boo-hoo. You know. So, my comment is just that. Go check out the new stuff before you...
We're at the droid bay.
Good. You need to override the controls on a submersible droid. Careful, not all droids are friendly.
Go check out the content before you make a hit video on a game. That's all I'm saying. Oh, like I said, just a response video. I hope you enjoy it. Hope you see some of my points of view. And like I said, if the game's got problems, I'm going to call it out. If I think people are off base, I'm going to call them out too. So please join my stream on Saturdays at 12 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time on YouTube and also on Twitch at Nariana Zone. Please like, subscribe, and share this video.